Hello and welcome back to Real World Magic, where we make your life more magical. My name is Neil Trigger, and today we're going to be looking at perception and reality. How is the world made up? How can you change the world around you? And look, I know loads of people are going to be like, hey, whatever, dude, I don't believe in all this psycho crap, right? I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around, you know? But in this video, I'm going to prove that the world around you is actually only as accurate as your own brain decides to make it. For example, I'm not actually American. It's true. I'm actually an English gentleman, born and raised in Britain. Now that we have that clanger out of the way, let's start the show, shall we? Because today I'm talking about how to create reality. This week I've been working with a vocal and accent coach, and it's been a really interesting experience with the change in perception that comes with the change in vocal range. Projection! And especially for me, accents. The thing is that when it comes to real world magic, anything can happen. You can shape reality and create worlds, change worlds, simply by changing the way your audience perceives the world. And that may sound really difficult, but you can do it in really simple ways that have massively wide-ranging effects. Let's take my accent as an example. What did you think at the beginning of the video? Clearly, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you're probably thinking,
that's not his real voice.
If you're new to this channel, perhaps you were taken in by it and thought it was my real voice. Perhaps you thought it was a good thing, perhaps you thought it was a bad thing.
Perhaps you really didn't care either way.
But this difference of opinion is the main reason that I'm saying about different realities. Different people experience the world in different ways. Some people will see an American man, some will see an English man pretending to be an American man, and how can you use this in your life to make your own life more magical? Well, real world magic is all about application, and I'd argue that faking an accent is probably impractical for you. It comes across as not authentic, and so you're going to need something more subtle. So, let me direct you to my previous videos about deletion, distortion and generalization. The links are in the description, and these videos talk about how to use these three filters of deletion, distortion and generalization to process the data that comes at you from the outside world, so you can make sense of the world. When you're talking to someone, you can use words that convey meanings, like this little image right here. What do you see? I'd like you to look at the words here and just add some spaces in your mind's eye. Now what do you see? Some people say happiness is nowhere, but not only is that sad, that's not actually what it says. There's only one way of reading it or seeing it. It can also be read, happiness is now here, which I think is a lot nicer. Both ways of reading that are perfectly valid and fair ways of seeing those words, but one is totally opposite to the other. And so it is with reality, and especially language. I did a PhD in linguistics back in 2008 to 2010. Sadly, something happened with the funding, so I couldn't complete it. But the point is that I came across some results in my research that many people saw as incredibly disruptive. So let me explain that now. So there are four main ways that people think. I'll go into that in another video perhaps. But for now, just know that there are four main ways of thinking. People talk in the way they think, and they write in the way they talk. If you can match the way someone thinks, you can match the way they talk, and if you match the way they talk, you can match the way they write. So far so good. You can backwards engineer it in both directions. Now, I created a database of over 2.5 million words, and I built it into some software that I was able to use to analyze text according to these four systems of thinking. Now, I went to Exeter University to do my PhD, and I worked with a number of students who invited me to come and talk to them about my research. One day, I decided to use the software to analyze the students' assignments according to the feedback that they got for those assignments, and work out if there were any mismatches between the way the students thought and the way that the person who graded their paper also thought. Where there were correlations, the grades the students received was much higher. Well, I thought that was interesting. You would, wouldn't you? So I decided to work out why this correlation occurred. Was it that the assignment itself influenced the marker to change their own way that they wrote the response? Was it that the grade changed the way the feedback was given? What was it that caused the very convincing correlation? Well, next I asked the students present to rewrite their assignments according to a level that I generated using the software, which provided a good overall coverage of all 4 ways of thinking. That way, every student should have enough impact on the person grading, regardless of who that person was. The person grading that work could then judge the impact of this way of thinking subconsciously, and it should then influence the way that they respond. Every student went away and created their assignment, but before they handed the assignment in, they used my software to find out how they did according to my model. Then they rewrote it a bit, just in order to get the balance right. Now, the scary thing is that every single student who participated got much better grades, and I'm talking a full 10% on average better than their last grade's assignment. I presented my findings to a very large audience next time I lectured because people were quite interested in seeing these results, including a few lecturers who had heard about my research. They were angry and said that surely this couldn't be real. I asked,
"Why was that?"
They replied, "Because you're not saying it's about what you say, but rather how you say it." To which I said,
Correct.
"But that makes a mockery of the entire education system," they said. To which I replied,
Correct.
And this is the disruptive thing about this video. Reality is created in the mind and only made by the thought of the person experiencing the reality. I cannot guarantee that other people exist, and so my own assertion, based on the way that I interpret the data in my brain, is that other people do exist. By working out how people think, using the way they write to tell me how they talk and think, I can change my reality by influencing the opinions of others. This technique works in innumerable applications, from job applications and interviews to selling, romantic profiles on the internet dating websites, to buying a car. So there you have it. Reality only exists in the mind. And I guess the main takeaway from this video is the need for you to reflect on your own humanity and to realise that your own reality is flexible, whether you want it to be or not. So that's it for another week, my friends. If you like this video, please click the like button. And if you want to watch more real world magic, please subscribe and ding that bell. Bing! By dinging the bell, it tells YouTube that it was a good video and more people should see it. Share this video with your friends and family and see if they fall for my fake accent. And until next time, as always, stay magical.
Please subscribe to Real World Magic.